Hi folks, Smudge here, and I'm bringing you another promo of my people's Monday Night Live. Let me have her introduce herself.
Hi, I'm Helga from Helga's Pennsylvania Cooking.
Well, hello Helga. How you doing today? Can you tell the folks where you're from?
The region I live in, central and northeastern Pennsylvania, is kind of unique. It's PA Dutch country, which is German recipes and food and Amish settlers, along with the Germans and Dutch peoples, slammed right up against the coal region, which has a lot of Prussian, Polish, Slavic influence, Irish, Italian. There's Greek communities here as well, so it's a really great food fusion area.
Very interesting. But I also understand that in addition to all the farm fresh produce and food sources, there's a fair amount of wild game. Tell us about that.
It's also a hunter's dream area. We have all kinds of game, and there's deer and turkey and all kinds of small game and bear, and anything you could about hope for is here, and hunting is a big deal around here.
I've noticed that you refer to Pennsylvania as PA all the time, and I understand there's a story behind that. Can you tell us about that?
And don't bust me for saying PA. Only people from away say Pennsylvania. If you're from PA, you say PA. I don't know why we do that. I think maybe it's because Pennsylvania is 5 syllables and it's pretty windy. So PA it is. But I want to do one on PA meats, and that's scrapple and soupies and hog maw and kielbasa. Really good stuff, in moderation, but really good stuff. Also the Polish foods of pierogies and chalupki and halushki and blinis and pigeons and all kinds of good stuff.
So since you're predominantly a cooking channel, what kind of stuff are you going to be sharing with the people?
I have a lot of good recipes to share from the family, from the local churches and fire halls and dinners of the area, passed down through the grandmothers all the way down through the years, and I have a huge collection of those, and it's a lot of what I've used for years along with my own family's recipes.
Well folks, there you go. Tonight, 9 o'clock, Helga will be joining us on Monday Night Live. So be sure to stop in and see it. The stream will start at 8:57 and the show starts at 9 p.m. Take care, have a great day.
Hi. Catches me every single week. I am never ready. I was too busy typing. Hey, I'm mingling with the people. What can I say? We have a cooking show tonight. Okay. Well, no, a cooking channel show tonight. How about that? She makes some awesome stuff, and a wonderful lady. I did a collab with her last year for the holidays. I did Hanukkah, and Helga invited me to do that, so that was fun. So I'm going to, once we get back from Mississippi, I'm going to jump into the collab that Deep South Homestead has going. Not sure what else is going on. We're all getting frantic and getting ready to for the Mississippi Deep South Homestead gathering this weekend. Conference. We all know it's a conference. We're leaving Wednesday to go down to Tennessee to see some sweet lady that we met last May and sort of adopted each other. We've been down there, stopped down there in the fall to surprise her. So Wednesday night we were going to spend the night at Dana's place, Sullivan Family Homestead. And Thursday morning we're going to get up, and she's going to be a stowaway in the van and come with us to Mississippi. So for all of you traveling, safe travels. Wanda, keep your wits about you. It's going to be a wild weekend. And with no further waiting, let's bring Miss Helga out from the green room.
Green room. Sure.
I don't have, my kitchen's green. Will that work?
Yeah, okay. Just the other room right over here.
Okay.
All right.
Well, let's bring her out.
Okay. Helga, you are live.
Hi, everybody.
Thanks for having me on tonight and for being here.
Oh, it's our pleasure.
Always nice to come on with like-minded people.
Everyone, make sure if you have a question, put it all in caps. If I don't see it, one of our wonderful moderators will, and pester me until I make sure I ask the question. Right, bee lady? Floor's all yours, Helga.
Yeah, I mean, questions at the night, I'm more than happy to answer. This is an opportunity for them to give me real-time feedback if they're interested. So, have at her, and otherwise you're just going to hear stories.
Stories work.
Nothing wrong with stories.
Yeah.
Well, I guess I'll kind of start off here just for a moment. You're from PA. That's where you raised and grew up, and is that correct?
Yep, that is absolutely correct.
And neighboring Amish community, if I understood correctly in some of your videos.
Yes, yep. I actually grew up with Amish neighbors and Mennonite neighbors all around me, and spent a lot of time in their homes growing up. So,
just to put everybody on the same track, what is the difference, in your opinion anyway, between an Amish person and a Mennonite?
Mostly in how much technology and English influence that they allow on their lives. And it varies from sect to sect and what the bishops rule for each of them, because I've seen some pretty liberal Amish and more conservative Mennonite and vice versa. But typically, the Amish tend to be much more old order, and some are extremely strict in, still using metal wheels on their wagons and whatnot, no rubber, still horse and buggy. Where Mennonites tend to allow more technology in their lives. They'll have cell phones and cars. They have to be plain black and plain, nothing fancy, but they allow more technology. But it's funny because you'll see Amish kids when nobody's around to watch them. Yeah, they've got their own little cell phones, and they're doing their own thing too.
Oh, so, okay.
Not as Amish and backwards as everyone wants to think, right?
Oh, but that's the thing. They are just like everybody else. Some of the local Mennonite kids, pretty strict homes, they were attending school, and when they left home, they'd be on their bicycles and dressed in Mennonite dress. But they had an old school bus stop by a friend's house where they had English clothes stashed, and a friend with a car, and they'd go to town and stuff, and their family knew nothing about this.
Oh my goodness.
That's too funny.
So you're from rural area. You're still in pretty rural area, would you say? Or the closest town is how far away?
The closest real town is probably about 7 miles away. There's a village that's about 3 to 4.
Okay, but the closest Walmart's like 7 miles.
Yeah, that's actually 11 miles.
11 miles. Okay, so it's 11 miles to civilization.
Yeah, and I like it like that.
So is it wooded area, or is it just bare land, or you in real hilly area?
Gorgeous. This is a gorgeous part of Pennsylvania where you have the rolling hills and mountains with forests and meadows and the rolling streams, and it's just gorgeous.
So that's obviously a hunter's haven, if you would. I think you've mentioned that in some of your videos. Are you a hunter?
I used to be. I was years ago. I used to deer hunt, and I used to small game hunt. In fact, my father and I used to raise German short-hair pointers and used to do a lot of pheasant hunting. And but I also used to hunt rabbits with a beagle and all that good stuff. I like working dogs. I used to also have coon dogs and English Springer Spaniels. We did a lot of working stuff when I was young. And I got away with that with work life and stuff later on, but I still appreciate it. And now I don't bother with it because we have other family and friends that want to go shoot Bambi and bring me the deer. So, it's like win-win, and I don't have to freak my butt off anymore.
There you go.
Wholesome Roots is asking if you live near the Poconos.
Yeah, I'm southwest of the Poconos. I'm about an hour southwest of Scranton. Not far from where Interstate 80 and 81 join. I'm a little west of that.
That's where we honeymooned.
At Poconos, yeah.
Poconos. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Place that isn't even open anymore.
Well, and we found the racetrack there, Pocono Speedway.
Yeah, that was a strange thing.
Yep.
Went for a drive.
I've been there.
Yeah, went for a drive, and all of a sudden on my right, I'm going, Daryl, it was racetrack.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a big one.
Yeah.
It just wasn't the season to turn in now.
Exactly. Yeah, it was it was September. It was September. There was no race there.
So anyway, in your immediate area, are there some of the larger games such as bear? Is it black bear, grizzly bear?
No grizzlies. This is the wrong area for grizzly, but we do have black bear in abundance. In fact, the local folks with bees, local apiaries, we have a lot of hot wire strung around and stuff because otherwise they'll get into them. And I've actually had a young black male bear out at my place, and all the horses were trying to climb into my coat pockets because they were not happy. We have bobcat. We do have. We actually have mountain lions, cougar, that have been migrating west and south, and some have started to hit this area. We have a lot of coyote now back in the area, which I'm not very happy about. When I was a teenager, we used to go hunting for them at night. That was our teenage farm kid recreation, was hunting coyotes. And got rid of quite a few of them, but now there's no natural predators, and they're coming back, and they are big, and they are bold, and they're not a farm's friend. So there's people starting to hunt and trap them again. And then you've got fishers and possum and raccoon and all your small game, but the fishers are a real problem too. So.
Well, I know you live on, how much property do you have? Let me start there.
We have 24 acres. My parents up in New York State have 80.
Okay. And is this a working farm? When I say working, I mean, do you raise hay and beans and corn and all that, or raised?
No,
do you grow that?
It's not open enough. There's not enough open land for that. It's a good part of it is wooded. So it's not the greatest. I have some pasture. But I use it mostly for gardening and putting up preserves and stuff like that. I would like to get into bees down the road, but I don't have enough open space to do my own cropping. My parents do, I do not.
Okay. So do you, for your gardening, how large of a garden do you have? Is it, would you say you produce half of your produce in your garden, 3/4? Or?
If I have a good year, last year was rough because we had such a rainy summer. It actually flooded my garden out in July, which never happens. Normally I have to irrigate and worry about my garden burning up in July. So last year wasn't the greatest year, but I get enough of basic stuff. I usually have sweet corn, all my tomatoes, and various kinds of peppers because I make my own hot sauce and put that up. I do a couple different kinds of sweet corn. I do squashes, I do beans, I do peas. Beets. The area I have, it's not big, but I try to do a square foot method if possible to keep it intensive. So it's probably about, I figure, probably 30 by 40 maybe.
Okay.
So it's not huge. But and this year I want to put in a cultivated berry patch, and I'm going to actually use some of the old tires that my other half, Mike, the squirrel mechanic, he has. They've been sitting out forever, so a lot of the chemical leakage and stuff that you would worry about are gone. And I'm going to actually use them to do a raised raised bed for the different berry bush plants.
Okay.
So they'll be like too high and filled and be a natural barrier. So I can put in the new gooseberry bushes and stuff that I want because they're harder to come by now.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
We do have a question. The Rusty Acres Homestead is asking if you have Bigfoot, or he said if there's multiples, that would be big feet.
Haven't seen him, so I don't know.
You have to know the source.
Okay. So nope, haven't seen one yet. I don't know. I have big feet. Do I qualify? My grandmother always said
I was wondering. I could be in trouble here. Yeah, Rusty, you need to make a Bigfoot beer. There you go. There's an idea for you. We'll see him on Sunday. Yeah, we'll see him on Sunday.
So with your garden, then everything is done by hand. You don't have a tractor plowing strips and row crops.
So in the initial, we're not doing row crops and stuff. The initial tilling, actually, go back to the Mennonite guys. They're awesome, and in 10 minutes they do with their big tractor and PTO rototiller my whole garden bed and have it nice and loamy, and then I do the rest of the year. I keep it tilled up and stuff with. Actually, I have a electric tiller cultivator that I use. I've actually done a video on that and compared it to my friend's Mantis, which I like Mantises too, but it does a really good job in the garden, and it's really handy to have.
So in your area, there's also a lot of fairs, a lot of history, it's almost a tourist trap, isn't it?
In some ways, we have a lot of food festivals. Then we have our local towns have like the Iron Heritage Festival. The one local town by me, Danville, is actually one of the first places to do iron ore here in Pennsylvania. And they developed the rail system and stuff for processing iron ore. So they have the Iron Heritage Festival every year. Then Knoebels Grove is right down the road from me. Knoebels Grove is an amusement resort that's family owned and operated, one of the top rated in the country, and is still free parking, free admission, free entertainment. And it's in a beautiful grove along the creek. And they hold a Covered Bridges Festival, which is another tourist trap for our area, is that Pennsylvania and Ohio have the highest numbers of covered bridges in the country. And we are one of only 2 states that have a twin covered bridges. And so the Covered Bridges Festival in October hosts the whole Knoebels amusement area turns into a huge craft and a huge craft fair. And so many craftsmen come from iron forgers and food providers and makers of all kinds of stuff and craftsmen. It's just really cool.
No, I don't know, but I know that what is it that has the fairs every year?
Bloomsburg.
No.
Oh, you mean Pennsylvania?
Well, all over the country, the magazine.
Oh, Mother Earth News Fair.
Mother Earth News Fair is the Mother Earth News Fair that has one in Pennsylvania. Is that anywhere close to where you're at?
Actually, that's about 4 hours west out towards Pittsburgh at Seven Springs. However, they are doing a new one this year down in Frederick, Maryland, which is actually only 2.5 hours south of me.
Oh, okay.
And that's a new location.
Okay. Are you going to go?
Actually, I would love to go, except I'm supposed to be out in Kentucky that weekend. I already made some plans for Kentucky, actually for a YouTubery meetup that I'm going to before that they put this one on the schedule, but I probably will the following year because we'll be exhibiting Morgan Horses for Cornerstone, which is a Foundation Morgan organization.
Okay, very interesting. Pretty neat. So, what other things are very unique to your area, would you say?
I love where I live, and I know some people think I'm like a freaking tour guide provider or something around here. Probably ought to be. I ought to get paid PA Bureau of Tourism, I guess, but I really love where I live because it's wonderful farm country, but with the woods and stuff, with all the game and everything. But it's also really great because it's PA Dutch country, slammed up against the coal region. So the fusion of food that you have is amazing. Plus, there's a big Italian community and Ukrainian community and Irish community. So the food fusion here is just amazing. And with all the local farmers and stuff, we have amazing array of fresh produce and vegetables and orchards. There's an orchard's not half a mile up the road from me that's fabulous. So, I mean, just about anything you could think of you would like is here for the most part.
Tressa's stay-at-home life is asking, what is your favorite thing to grow?
Holy cow, that's hard. Probably my tomatoes.
Something the animals don't eat.
Good luck with that. My horses, So a couple of years ago, even though I had it fenced, my horses got out and my sweet corn was just ready to harvest, and they trashed my whole garden. Furthermore, Mike had a game cam on the garden, so I got to witness the destruction, which was just, I could have shot horses that day. Let's just put it that way. And Mike's mom thought that this was hilarious. And so she made horsehead sugar cookies with yellow mouse for all the corn that they did. This is the kind of family I have.
They have the same demented sense of humor that ours does.
Right there with you guys.
Yep, you do the same thing here.
Well, Helga, have you ever had the opportunity to go to a conference or a big like the fairs and stuff like that for the homesteading type people?
Actually, I was supposed to, and it seems like something has happened every year. This year, it's not going to be feasible this year. I would like to do it for next year. I had last 5 years, I really got sidetracked off of things because my dad was in really bad health, and I was dealing with that a lot, and he has since passed last month. So,
sorry to hear that.
That's yeah. Well, it was a long time coming, and I'm happy that he's in a far better place at this point. So
I know what you mean there.
But allows me some time again to go back down that road. In the future, I'd like to get to the American Homesteaders Conference. I would love to do that and get back into the Mother Earth News Fair because I love those. So, hey, cooking with a little spice. Thanks for stopping in, Melissa. But yeah, definitely. I mean, one advantage that we have here is in Pennsylvania, we're a huge agricultural state. So we have the Pennsylvania Farm Show. We have the Bloomsburg Fair, which draws in over 100,000 people. It's huge. And there's a lot to those just on their own, not to mention all the small little agricultural fairs with all your gardening classifications and food and everything else for judging and some stiff competition. So, there's a lot of fun with that.
So do you enter a lot of the competition things at local fairs and things like that?
I used to before I got sort of put on hold. And yes, this year I would like to re-enter again and get my vegetables and my eggs back into it.
So what kind of chickens do you have?
The kind that lay eggs.
There we go.
Sorry.
My kind of woman.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I couldn't help myself.
It's not just the curly. It's not just the curly hair, Helga. I'm telling you.
I'm sorry.
In case you didn't notice, Helga, it didn't faze me a bit. I am so used to it. I'm good.
Actually, on a serious side.
That's good.
Actually, on this serious side, as far as chickens go, so that's another saga. My chickens, I'm going to tell you what. I've got freaking crazy birds. But anyway, so I started out with some Buff Orpingtons and some Black Sex Links. Then a friend wanted to get rid of hers, so I took in hers. Then I had people wanting to get rid of a couple roosters, and I ended up with a Hampshire rooster, and then a Jersey Giant rooster, and they were fabulous. Then a friend's Christmas gift to me was a hatch. Well, 12 chicks of rare breeds from McMurray. And I know there's Dominiques and there's Cochins.
Oh my gosh.
Several different breeds of rare breeds. So the Hampshire rooster and his Buff Orpington sweetheart had a bunch of chicks that I raised. And those little girls are the broodiest things that God ever made. Let me tell you what they did to me this year. The 3rd of January, when it is minus 15 here and we're all freezing to death, one of those girls snuck off and hatched out a whole bunch of chicks on me. I'm in the barn, and all of a sudden I hear peep, 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 peep. I'm like, oh my God, you got to be kidding me. Sure enough, crazy freaking hen had all these peeps and stuff, and I had to go scoop them up and get them in a brooder and under the heat lamp. And I'm like, didn't you get the memo? You guys don't do that this time of year.
They weren't on the pail? What's going on?
Yeah.
Well,
so now it's about 30.
Oh my gosh. We have a question a little bit ago. Tom was asking, he said, hello, Helga. What is the origin of your lovely name?
Oh, well, that's a story too. I think everything's a freaking story. So my parents, who were not in any way Swedish, Helga's actually Swedish and German, and my parents are neither, I might add, thought that Helga would be a wonderful name to name me for a couple of reasons. One, it's Swedish for holy child. By age 3, they realized they had really screwed up. But the second reason was they were friends with Carl Sandburg and his wife, and they, besides being an American author, they also raised Nubian goats. And their oldest daughter was named Helga, and they were friends with them, and that's actually where they got the start for their Nubian goat herd, which I later continued. So that's how I got my name.
Wow.
And he's also asking, since he knows you cook with venison, how you get the gamey taste out.
Oh, that's easy. To get the gamey taste out, I actually soak the venison. Number one, trim off all fat, because all the muskiness and stuff is in the fat. So trim off all the fat, and then I soak mine in whole milk overnight in a Ziploc bag, because the milk with the enzymes pulls out the gaminess and also tenderizes the meat.
Darn.
There you go. Cooking tip number 103.
There we go. That'll be in the next cookbook.
So, do you have any aspirations to write a cookbook with all your family recipes and all this?
Fancy you should bring that up. Helga?
It's funny that he should bring that up.
he has no idea.
I'm just sitting here. What's going on?
Yeah, so...
Did I let a cat out of the bag or what?
No.
One of your 40 cats, did I let out of the bag?
Actually, it's day-old news. I actually, now that I can move on with projects and stuff, again, I'd always wanted to do a cookbook. It was on my bucket list. And so I started looking into it, and I wanted to do a professional cookbook with a hardback. And so I researched what I need to do, and I'm going to make that a reality that they come out in October. And I can show you a little bit of what it's going to be a different cover design, but it's a hardback book like this with dividers, and will look somewhat like this. And I'm going to have that out for October, and it's going to have a cross-section of both PA, Dutch, and Coleregion and family recipes for a start, and we'll see how it does. And if it goes anywhere, then I can follow with some more stuff.
Oh.
So that was a terrific lead-in for your advertisement.
It sure was. That worked out well, didn't it? And he didn't know a darn thing about it. That's funny. I Wear Aprons asking, what is your favorite coal region recipe?
Oh man, that's easy. I'm a pierogi girl. Pierogi, pierogi, pierogi. You can live on pierogi. Although, you know, Lupki's good and Halushki and actually we actually call here, this is actually something I'm having an upcoming vid. Your cabbage rolls, people call them different things. And around here with the heavy Ukrainian and Polish communities, they actually have a story behind it. They call them pigeons or blind pigeons. And we make them a lot, and I love them. But yeah, pierogies are probably my #1 favorite.
I'm afraid to say anything. So,
Thank you, Tom.
Feel like you're in the dark, do you?
obviously, but there must have been a light getting through under the door there someplace. So anyway, I think it's trivia time, folks. So just hang on here a second, and we'll be right back with you. Okay, for anybody that's new in the chat, every week we have a couple of trivia questions where we ask you a question about the guest, usually things they've supplied us with. And if you are the first person to answer that question correctly in the live stream as it is recorded here at Two Family Homestead on the screen, then you are a winner. And we send you a United States printed $2 bill. This is real money. And not everybody has a $2 bill. So, and they've gone all over the world.
Yes, they have. Literally.
So that's the way it works. The rules are very simple. You can only win once every 4 weeks. As I explained, you must be the first person to answer the question correctly in the chat window as received and recorded on the stream here. And you must send us an email so we know where to send the $2 bill. So send an email to twofamilyhomestead@gmail.com. Give us your name, mailing address, so we can send you through the mail a $2 bill. Any questions? Too bad, I'm not answering any. So, question number 1.
Grandpa wants to know if you knew there was a $3 bill.
Name the breed of goats and horses that Helga owns. Name the breeds of the goats and horses.
Brown. There you go, Allie. 4-legged.
Backwood raised, you're not, that is incorrect.
Lisa, it's not
Noah's
far
Ark,
off,
that's only
thanks
half.
for coming by.
That's only half there.
Pretty ones.
Bee
Yeah,
ladies
I bet you they are pretty.
Nope, not yet. Tasty goats, no.
You guys are getting it half right, and you're close on the second.
And you know, she has actually mentioned these breeds already in the show tonight.
Yeah, I have.
That's okay, Allie.
I was trying to help
so
y'all out.
Allie. Morgans and Nubians.
That would be it.
Yep.
The white picket fence.
Yay! Ding, 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 ding.
You got it. We have a winner.
Okay, the white picket fence. Please send us an email to familyhomestead@gmail.com.
Raising goats and horses. Yeah, if you get that email to me by tomorrow, I will put it in the mailbox. Otherwise, it won't go out till next week.
Hey, the bee lady. We have a joke about quarter horses. Why does anybody want only a quarter of a horse? Bada boom.
Lordy. Yeah.
And with that,
We could live next door and be very good friends.
And with
I can
that-
see it now.
The phone line is open, folks. If you'd like to call in and speak to her directly, ask a question, just say hello or whatever. So,
Helga, not sure if the rest of the household could stand us, but you and I would have a blast.
Oh, absolutely.
The phone number is posted, 419-528-8494. Give us a call.
I know, Allie.
If someone is on the phone, I can only take one call at a time.
Brown or white. It could have been brown and white, so you could have been right on both ones.
Well, Christy has to be okay. She loves Morgan's. That's my girl.
Grandpa's place. Wait, I buy the beef by the quarter. Why not buy horses by the quarter? Don't ask me, Grandpa's place. I have no idea.
Hey, Grandpa's place. You're not riding that quarter. That's why you're not riding the beef. It's a little odd, there's odd numbers and all involved.
Okay, somebody needs to hand. Is it Schlisa? A hanky. She's not having a very good evening right now. She was so close.
Oh, Lisa's awesome. She's the Fatwood queen, man. You want to see some wonderful, beautiful Fatwood. Shalisa is your girl.
Cool. Yeah, I have her channel marked so I can check it out. Anyone that I haven't seen in here before, I always click on there so I can go do their channel after the chat, and more times than not, I subscribe to them.
B lady, I don't know about any $3 bills, just to be real honest with you.
Grandpa's place is the one who mentioned it.
Well, but I see B lady is saying something about, okay, now the question for the $3 bill.
And she was bringing it up because Grandpa did.
And even
he wanted to know whose face was on it, and I said Daryl's.
Yeah, it's my face on the $3 bill. So.
That's fun.
It sounds good, huh?
Well, who all's in here? I see Country Girls in here, Grandpa's Place. Taryn Williams,
Noah's Ark,
retired and prepping. Well, hello, folks.
She raises lizards.
Well, I've been busy over here and haven't seen who all's in the room. So.
I know. I've been chatting. That's okay, honey.
Oh, there's 7D Farm.
It was back. It was early in the 1800s.
How hard is it to write a cookbook?
And it featured Santa on the front and his sleigh on the back. There you go. That's your $3 bill.
I'll be darned. The 7D Farm is asking, how hard is it to write a cookbook?
Well, let's put it this way. I think the biggest part of putting the cookbook together is trying to make sure that you have your different sections evenly represented, and then collating the stuff. Then it's a matter of doing input. So the hardest part to me is picking what's going to go in and making sure it's evenly distributed throughout. So that takes a little time.
Little Creek Homestead. Hello and welcome to the channel here. Oh, yeah, while things are quiet here for just a moment. Helga needs some views, folks. She got caught up in this this last YouTube trap thing where she doesn't have enough hours watched.
Yeah, B-Lady, Country Girl, if one of you could post her link, sure would appreciate it. If all the rest of you have a spot for an open tab, if you could go to her channel and
just give her some
click on videos and click on view all. You can just put an X through the speaker and just let the videos run.
So anyway.
Well, sure, Tom, you can ask another question.
Oh, yeah.
What spices go well with paprika?
Chili powder. Actually, if you combine chili powder and paprika, you can make chipotle seasoning. So that's one of my favorites. And actually, I make a chipotle homemade mayo. So that's always nice, and I like that with almost any kind of red meat. Now, you can do it with chicken too, but I like it a little bit more with red meat. Someone else also asked what kind of pierogi I like the best. They said they like potato and farmer's cheese. I like potato and jalapeno cheese and sauerkraut ones. Love them.
Grandpa's Place is asking regular paprika or smoked paprika?
I like the smoked better.
And for some reason, I knew she was going to say that because of the spices.
Yep.
Yeah, I knew that. B Lady is asking the number of hours that you need. And I know you mentioned that before.
Well, let's see. I have it equated to minutes. I know I need 280,000 minutes, and I'm around 140 some thousand.
Okay.
So it's a long way to go, but if I stay on track, I figure I can have it this year.
Well, and you've got some great content.
We'll get you there.
You have some great content, and I know that you were not able to post the way that you would have desired to post because of taking care of your dad and so forth, and so.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is, and
yeah,
I wasn't in, all of this to begin with for money or something else like some people. And actually, I had never envisioned having a channel. I wouldn't even have a channel if my other half, the Squirrel Mechanic, and Steve Robb hadn't been on my butt for, I bet you, a good year to get me to do it. So I finally broke down and did it. And the main reason I did it is I started searching YouTube for the Pennsylvania Dutch stuff that I make around here, like my apple dumplings and stuff. And all I was coming up with were, how's the best way to put this? It's not that they were wrong, but they were the easy versions. They took store-bought dough and were doing them that way and stuff. And I'm sorry. I mean, that's great if you don't have the time. But I wanted to do, from scratch, the way I grew up making them and sharing that. And I wasn't finding that anywhere. So I thought, well, maybe this is a niche that I can share them, because younger generations in our family and stuff will have that to watch and see the technique, because you can write the recipe down. But I found out, like from Mike's mom, I looked at her recipe cards and I'm going over it. And for example, I'm going through, this. Oh, I don't do it that way. Or I add this much instead of that much. And it's like, well, that's not what the card says. She says, and she's like, well, that's how I do it. I said, well, dang it, we gotta fix this, or no wonder it's never going to come out the same. So, it's that kind of stuff.
Well, that and it's a pinch of this and a smidgen of that, and it's a handful of this, and
some of my mother's recipes. I have 3 boxes of recipes of hers, and some of hers are like that. It's like, oh, great. I can't ask her.
What's a smidgen?
Yeah.
Exactly. and how big a pinch? And how big are your hands?
It's like the size of a walnut.
Yeah, right. And well, last year we got caught up in the year before, we got caught up in the YouTube shenanigans.
Yeah.
We were so close, and poof. Until we hit it, we were done.
And it's not so much about making the money. It's just the fact that you're getting to be a YouTube partner, and perhaps every 2 or 3 months they might send you a check for $100. It's certainly not enough to live on.
No, it's not enough to live on. And actually, I wish, if I ever got big, I would actually donate the proceeds to charity, like the local food cupboard or whatever. Until I got to that point, the goal was that at least it would pay for some of my equipment and some of my food that I get, because some of the ingredients of some of the stuff I make isn't cheap.
And I see we have a fellow in the room that we've had on the show before, and a friend of yours, Cab 7. Good evening, sir. How are you tonight?
Oh, hey, Cab. How you doing, baby?
Hi, Ben.
Long time no see.
So just watching the chat scroll through here, and I'm surprised nobody has called in, or maybe it's not working. Maybe I should say, Cab, give us a phone call. Say right. Hello.
Well,
let's make sure that this thing works.
Grandpa's place hasn't called either. And Shalisa says, thank you very much. She said she loves our screen setup. That's all that Daryl's doing. I don't do any of the computer stuff. He's the computer techie. Literally, that was his job. So
DIY misfit mechanic. I wonder who that might be.
That's a friend of mine. That's one of my guys.
I like the channel name.
Yes. So
he's another Pennsylvanian, so that's
cool.
Another
we're in Ohio, so we're neighbors.
Yeah, I'd
Yep,
like to
your
get
neighbors.
I'd like to have 805 Road King on the show sometime, but so far he's eluded me.
805 likes doing his own thing.
Daryl just got the comment, you don't want to know.
I don't want to know.
That's what it says. That's what he said. You don't want to know.
Okay.
The phone line's open, folks.
Well, I have a...
And it's crazy because it's usually not that quiet.
I know, and I have one of these digress questions because this is going way off topic, but I'm curious. Simply because of my background. Helga.
Yes.
Pennsylvania is noted for sprint car racing. Were you ever a fan of sprint car racing? Did you ever go to the tracks and so forth?
Absolutely, and I have friends that used to race, and my cousins also race late models and stocks.
We'll talk about that in a moment because we have a phone call right now.
Daryl used to race late models.
Oh, cool.
Hi, June.
My cousin did, yep.
I knew it. I knew she would do it for us.
Hello, June.
See, you finally answered. I was just about to type in the chat. Well, answer, will you? I'm calling.
I hear you. I hear you.
Oh, my goodness.
Hello, Helga.
Hi, June.
I'm sorry, I made a mistake. I thought I was following you, and I hadn't seen anything from you in a while, and I kind of thought that you were just busy and doing stuff, and I realized I hadn't pressed that red thingy and made it go gray and hit the bell. But I fixed that now, so. Because I've been seeing you around in the chats and stuff, but I kind of figured you were, I didn't try, I didn't ask.
Last month I've been getting on track here,
sorry.
so getting stuff out.
Okay, so I won't hold up because, I can gab forever if I really wanted to. So I won't hold up. So everybody, you do know that the phone lines are working, so call in and talk to Helga because she's really nice. I know you really don't want to talk to Daryl, but you can talk to Cheryl too. I love you, Daryl. You know I really do.
Touche, that was great.
It's okay, June. I got your number.
I love you guys. I shall talk to y'all later. Bye-bye.
Okay, thanks for calling. Bye-bye. Okay, you heard it here first. So, back to the sprint car racing. How close are you to Allentown?
Allentown is about an hour east of me.
Okay.
Now down actually close to us is a small dirt track at Selinsgrove, PA.
Yes. Okay. Selson Grove, is that what it?
Yeah, Selinsgrove. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. And they have
some late models and stocks.
They run the World Outlaws through there, and yeah, it's a real hotbed for sprint car racing. I know that. They got some late models too, but
yeah. When Daryl was young, he used to race late models, and then when his ex sold his late model, he ended up doing push trucks, and then went into flagging.
yeah. So I was a flagman at half a dozen tracks here in Ohio for over 30 years. So anyway.
Oh, cool.
Taryn Williams is asking, what is your favorite dish to make?
The kind that I eat, I don't know.
Yep, we're related somehow.
I do get asked that, and it's really hard to pin it down to one thing because, whatever I'm hungry for at the time is my favorite thing to make.
Then Allie's going to just increase that. What are your 3 favorite dishes to cook and why?
I probably like doing my lasagna. I like my pierogi casserole.
I have not.
And I love Dutch oven cooking steaks and stuff. So I don't know, man. It's hard.
Ones that you throw away, saying oops.
I wear aprons is asking, have you ever been to the track in Port Royal, Pennsylvania? Port Royal, PA. I won't say Pennsylvania. I'll be a PA person tonight.
No, that I haven't. I have friends that went down there. I also had friends that used to go down to Maple Grove and race. And then we have a local drag strip out here too at New Media. And we've actually raced out there.
Okay, so
Thank you, B-Lady.
although it was off topic, it was common thread, so that worked out okay.
B-Lady, did I tell you that when I told Celia what you ordered last night, how much? Yeah, I did tell you. She went, what? And she did a double take. She says no one's ever ordered that much, even if she added them all up. So she went home and told her stepmom last night what you did. So I said, when we get home from Mississippi, we are going to sit down and you're going to write her a thank you note. So be expecting something.
Our granddaughter got corralled into the school solicitation business.
Well, they're doing it for a school trip to Washington, D.C. next year.
Okay. And B-Lady was very generous in
Yes, she was.
ordering some products so that she could make some extra sales.
Allie is asking, name one food you never want to try.
I could probably actually put that to a whole category, and that's certain Asian foods involving fish pieces and guts.
Oh, yeah, I don't think I want to do that.
No, you get along just fine with Nina. You don't like sushi.
Sushi.
I can eat sushi, certain kinds of sushi I can eat.
I just...
But you know, like fish eyeballs and stuff, that's not happening.
I can eat lox, but that's it. I don't go any further.
What was that guy that was on TV that ate all the strange stuff?
No, it wasn't Adam something. I forget. He was a nice roly-poly guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, he had those on Food Network.
Eat chickens and the whole chicken head. And
good stuff.
Yep. Tressa Stay-at-Home Life is asking, what's your favorite type of dessert?
Oh, so my favorite dessert actually is something that my mom's friend made for years and gave me the recipe for on my 21st birthday, and that is a chocolate hazelnut torte with buttercream frosting soaked in wine.
B-Lady, Scrabble is a game. Scrapple is not a game.
Hold on. Hello, this is Daryl. Who's calling, please?
This is Cab 7.
Hey, Ben.
Well.
Hey, sir.
How you doing, Ben?
I'm doing really good. And how are you doing, Daryl?
We're doing just fine. We're doing just fine.
Awesome.
Haven't had a lot of time to spend on the computer here lately. Been working on some projects and trying to get ready to go to this thing in Mississippi. But
oh yeah. You're still coming through Pennsylvania, right?
Well, we're going to Virginia in October.
Yeah, that'll be in October.
Oh, okay.
That's October.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I hadn't heard you guys talk about that here recently, so I didn't know if you changed your plans or what.
No,
I do have a question to ask our wonderful interviewee interviewee.
Yes, go for it.
Okay. My question is, now I've met Helga twice, and she is like totally awesome. She's like my little sister. But when I was out at her farm, I did not notice any beehives out there, and I was wondering if she plans on getting some beehives, and if she does, is she going to be selling honey?
The plan is eventually to do that. It won't be this year's project, but it might be next year's project. I have to get some stuff prepared first before I would do that. But the honey would be for my use to begin with. If there's more later, then that might happen. But I can find a lot of uses for honey.
Okay, so you do have plans then to start up a beehive, right?
Yep. I had them with our family when I was young. We had bees, and just got away from it over the years with other demands and stuff. And that's something I'd like to go back to again.
Oh, okay, awesome. You know, I've been meaning to ask you that, but and thanks to Bee Lady Apiary, she's in the chat there. It's like, oh wow, I could ask Helga a question that because I forgot to ask you, and because I saw the Bee Lady in there, it's like, oh, this is a perfect opportunity to ask Helga if she's planning on doing that, because I know there's a few people in the community that do raise bees. So
yes, yep.
I thank you for answering that question, Helga, and it's good to see you up on the panel tonight. You're in good hands with the Two Family Homestead.
Yep, I think so too. And thanks so much for calling in, Ben. Thanks for the support. I really appreciate it, friend.
No, not a problem. Not a problem. We'll talk to you all later now.
Ben, thanks so much for calling. You have a great week.
All right, you too, Daryl and Sherry. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, Ben.
Bye-bye.
So Helga, Bee Lady, what we were all laughing about before he called, said, what is that Scrabble? Helga mentioned, that's when I said Scrabble is a game. And Country Girl says, do you have a Scrabble recipe?
Well, so we laugh about Scrabble because for people who don't know what it is, we say it's everything but the snoots and tail. And basically it's all the trimmings from what's left over from butchering that you put together with meal and make a loaf with, and spices, and make a loaf with, that we later cook up and fry. Great for breakfast. I guess it's an acquired taste, but most Pennsylvanians worth their salt love it. And actually, I would have to ask my mom for the recipe that we used to use. I haven't made our own since we were young and we're doing full butchering and everything on our farm. So I'd have to get her recipe. Around here, it's like everything else. Every family has their own recipe and own family deal.
So Grandpa's place says, so it's Spam?
No. No.
I wear aprons. Is asking, do you make Beneki cookies?
Beneki? Yeah, Beneki cookies.
Beneki.
I haven't for a long time, and actually, you're not the first person that's actually said about them. So I might do that here in the future. I might do that for an upcoming holiday series, actually.
If you were on a desert island and could only bring 5 favorite foods, what would you choose?
Well, that's a good one.
Oh my God, you're killing me with the favorite food stuff. Potatoes. I can't live without potatoes. Can't live without cheese. Can't live without bacon. I'll throw in lima beans. And
I'll also have a beer now too. That'll cover a couple things.
So believe it or not, I don't really do beer. I don't do beer and I don't do coffee. I do tea, and I do I do the wine and hard liquor stuff.
I don't do beer and I don't do coffee.
Wine?
Oh, yeah, totally. Yep. Okay. Actually, it's funny because Mike's sister her and her husband make like 25 different varieties of wine. So I never am running out of that.
Good Lord. Yes.
I love it when you call me a taste test.
Papa's trucks said rum.
Okay, I can't read it. Tim's World is got something typed Susie.
Oh, souse. That's souse. Yep.
Here we go. DIY Misfit Mechanic. Here's a twist. What food do you hate the most?
What food do I hate the most? Well, I'm not a fan of red shellfish because it makes me sick. I'm allergic. So that's out. I don't like slimy stuff. Boiled okra is at the top of the list. I was traumatized by that as a kid, so absolutely not having any of that. Liver. Hate liver. I eat all the other stuff and hog maw and everything, but yeah, I hate liver.
Oh, we're not
I
related.
even eat liver steamed. Hate liver.
So do you grow your own lima beans?
I've tried to, and it's been so difficult here the past few years because we've had cold, rainy springs, which lima beans do not like. And actually several local Amish and Mennonite growers and another truck patcher, they've actually given up trying to grow them because they've had just as bad of luck. So they are like really expensive to find around here if you find them.
So what, if you had a 5-year plan for your homestead, what would the major things be over the next 5 years that you'd like to accomplish?
Well, I would like to get a good berry patch going, probably some more fruit trees, the garden developed more, the bees going. So I mean that. Well, and I try and do one big project a year. Last year I got new fencing put in, so that was really important. There's barn improvements that need to be done. It's, you know how it is when you've got a place, and that place was like neglected for such a long time. It really made it difficult.
How long have you been in the place that you're at?
9 years. 9 years.
Okay. Yeah, and maintenance on a place like that.
Big every year.
Yeah, the maintenance is tremendous. If people don't have that kind of acreage, they don't know.
No, well, yeah, because there's lots of mowing and stuff to do too. When we went there, the barn didn't have good electric. We had to do that. We've had to put new roofs on stuff. We had to run water to the barn. We had to change the driveway and widen things out and stuff and do some excavation. And so, I mean, it's been a process developing.
Well,
Country Girl, hold on. Country Girl's asking if you could travel anywhere in the world, where would it be?
I've always wanted to hit New Zealand. I'd like to hit Ireland and Canada. I've been down to Mexico. Those are probably the ones I'd like to hit the most.
Well, I know that you live on a property that's primarily wooded. Is it hardwoods or is it all fir trees or?
No, it's mixed. There's some hardwoods. There's also actually the neighbors just had the ash cut out because in Pennsylvania we've had a real tough time with the ash borer coming in and killing trees. So those have been cut out. But I also have a lot of old English black walnut trees on the property. There are a few fir trees, and then the rest are mixed hardwoods.
Now, aren't the black walnuts toxic to some wildlife, or not? Or I'm going to say livestock, like your horses.
Yeah,
maybe?
I mean, yeah, you don't want black walnuts super close to your livestock. Actually, the walnut hulls and stuff will actually give horses laminitis. You don't use shavings from black walnut trees either for the same reason. You also have to be careful growing vegetables too close to them in the root system.
I was just going to say.
And yep, and you can't pick mushrooms that grow by the root system; they'll be poisonous.
Oh, I wasn't aware of that one.
We had black walnuts on our previous place.
So I know a lot of places. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I know a lot of places that have woods have some, I'm going to say, woods-related tools where they have a small sawmill, do some firewood processing, use it as a source of income for their property. Do you do any of that?
Not currently. We used to do that actually on my parents' property, and we actually used to use our Morgan horses to log out the trees and stuff.
Cool.
Well, that's interesting.
Tom is asking, what do you make for Easter?
Easter's a big spread, and actually I'm gonna probably do a little footage this year so everybody can see it. But I do a turkey, a balsa loaf, mashed potatoes, filling. Usually somebody makes a baked corn, a green bean casserole, homemade cranberry sauce, deviled eggs, rolls. Usually, I'm probably going to try and do our Aunt Anne's rice pudding this year. Let's see, deviled eggs. I don't know. It's quite the menu. Usually, also some kind of salad, like a 7-layer salad. There's a lot, and usually I'll make the meats and like the filling and the potatoes, and the rest of the family will bring in the other stuff and round it out. Mike has a larger family, so that works out pretty well for us.
Okay, Helga, let me put you on hold here for just a moment. We'll get the other trivia question going, or do you have another question before we do this? Mm-hmm. All right.
Yeah. Bought myself a big box.
Okay, folks, very quickly the rules again. You can only win once every 4 weeks. You must be the first person to answer the question correctly in the chat window as it is received and recorded in the stream here, as you see it on the screen. You must send us an email with your address. Please send that within 48 hours to twofamilyhomestead@gmail.com so we can send you a $2 bill should you be the first person to answer the question correctly. So with all that being said, question number 2 for the night. How old was Helga when she started cooking? How old was Helga when she started cooking? 12. No. Wait. There we go. B-lady. B-lady.
You got it.
All right, B-lady.
Winner, chicken dinner.
B-lady, I need to know, were you just randomly typing numbers, or did you know the answer?
If she randomly typed the number, that would, yeah, you, B-lady, you be the one.
All right. Whoops. Let me bring the phone back over.
Ooh, 50-mile-an-hour wind. Allie, you be careful if you're going out.
Okay, and just so everybody knows, we've been on just over an hour. Can you stick around, Helga, or you have appointments you have to get to?
No, I'm still okay.
You're still okay. All right. So she doesn't have to go to the bathroom yet, folks.
Right fast.
So we'll continue on here for a little bit, and phone line is open if you'd like to call, talk to her directly, ask a question. Any questions for Helga? Any questions for us?
Owen is at, and I think that this might have been asked before Owen came in. Owen is asking, what is your favorite food dish to make?
Probably comfort food. I mean, I won't name just one thing, but yeah, probably the comfort foods. The lasagnas, the pierogies, that good stuff.
Misfit mechanic. I can't get an answer in edgewise with these women.
He likes living on the edge.
I guess. Well, I don't know if you're brave or just silly. Okay.
Got quiet.
Oh, it got real quiet.
Hush over the room. Have you ever had or like? Okay, Paul, I can't even pronounce it. Helga, can you?
Yeah,
I think I know what it is. I think we call it something different. I'm gonna check. And that's the other thing around here, depending on whether it came from the Ukrainian home, the Polish home, or whatever they call it. The same thing can be called like 4 different things. Oh, yep. Yep. Pig's feet. Yep.
Oh,
Absolutely. Not necessarily one of my favorite things unless really made properly, because they can be really, if you don't do it right, they can be really like gelatinous. But if you do it right and actually roast them off and stuff, they can be pretty good.
With toe jam?
Like chaos.
Added bonus.
I think he's talking about the comment about in the room with all the ladies not getting a word in edgewise.
Okay, because she was just talking about pig's feet.
Yeah, no, Chaos George says, love a good foot sandwich with toe jam. That's why.
Okay.
Open mouth, insert foot.
All right.
So I handed DIY a shovel. Stick with the conversation, Daryl.
Can handle it.
Hey, I did real good on the cookbook. What's your favorite thing to do for me time? What do you do to relax?
Oh, yeah. Well, my favorite thing to do is soak in a bubble bath with a candle and a glass of wine. There you go.
Guess that's your favorite thing to do. Go jump in the hot tub and have a glass of wine.
I don't get to do it near enough, trust me. So, like, when I finally get to it, it's like a big deal.
Well, pig's feet seems to be the topic of conversation in the room at the moment.
See that? Doing fine without a shovel, thank you.
Oh, we're still talking about the pig's feet. Yeah,
He's back in bed.
Oh.
DIY misfit.
Okay, and Paul says that my mom and dad made it with ham hocks and pork gelatin. They would sprinkle vinegar on it as a side dish.
No, I'm not part of your family, Paul. I know that for sure. First of all, we didn't have pork in my house when I was growing up, so I know we're not related.
I wasn't raised kosher, so I didn't have to worry about that. We went between both, so.
Oh, I wasn't raised kosher, but my mother wouldn't. You would not have. There was not pork in the house, and if she made a meat dish, she would not have dairy with it. Now, if we went out to eat, if we went out to eat, we could have whatever we wanted.
Yeah. Yep. See, we follow those for the holidays and stuff, but the rest of the time, free for all.
Yeah. Yeah.
I would be so sad because I couldn't be kosher because I would die without bacon. And pork
now
belly.
I do. Yeah. Once I learned what it was, oh yeah, it's like, Lord, where you been all my life? Yeah. When we used to go back to, because I'm from Rochester, New York, so when we used to go back home to visit family, and we stayed at my mom's house, at Graham's house, we would always stop at a place, because it was a Friday, so we'd stop at a place called Harry's Fish Store, whatever. And they would have the best, and I can still remember this, they had the best fried fish and shrimp and scallops around. And we would always, Dad would get me shrimp and get me scallops because I liked them. Grandma would not allow me to step in her house with the shrimp or the scallops. I had to eat them outside.
Oh, yeah. Yep. So, Sherry, you're actually an hour, where you're from at Rochester is an hour north of my parents.
Really?
You're that close to. Yep. And of course, up in Western New York State, Friday night fish fries, man, they're notorious.
Yeah,
awesome.
Yeah. I was, 3 years old. I didn't have a say so in the move to Ohio.
Jewish redneck preppers in here.
They just sort of, picked up, and I had to go with them. But
some good questions.
I still have, a lot of my family's back in Rochester. Do you ever do sugar-free recipes as country girls?
I do, and I also do some gluten-free ones as well.
And Tom is asking, how do you maintain I'm going to say it's a cast iron pot or skillet?
Cast iron care is pretty simple. I don't use harsh detergents or anything with them. And I season them first. Seasoning them means taking, I use a good oil and liberally put it on the inside, and then I put it in my oven around 250 degrees and let that go a while it makes a nonstick barrier and seasons it, and you keep that in, and you try to limit how much you do acidic foods in it.
Saw a picture of a catastrophe today. It was bacon dropped on the floor.
Ooh,
5-second rule, isn't it? That's my
it
granddaughter
doesn't exist
say.
for me.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's my granddaughter say. They look at me and go, "What's a 5-second rule, Nana?"
I was looking at a sign the other day that things in this kitchen are made with love. That means I licked the spoon and kept using it.
The weirdest food or ingredient I've seen at the grocery store. Well, that would depend. If we're talking about a regular grocery store, I can't really think of anything. If you start going to the Asian markets and stuff, that's a little different. So I've seen the Asian markets are an education. That's all I can say. There's a lot of things hanging there, and they're eating that I would have to be on Survivor Island to do. And I've eaten insects, I've eaten snake, I've eaten kinds of stuff, but stuff there that I am just not eating. I don't care.
B Lady wants to know how you season your cast iron.
Oh, she just said that.
Oh, is that what she had just answered? I am sorry.
Yeah.
Country Girl wants to know if you'd be interested in recipe swap. We swap recipes and make
Sure.
each other's recipes. That sounds good to me, Country Girl. Count me in.
Yep, sure.
Daryl's usually willing to try most anything I make.
I'm brave.
Stupid.
Mike's good that way too. He's a brave man.
He knows where his bread is buttered and where I sleep.
Duck blood soup, absolutely.
What was that I had? Oh, blood sausage.
Oh yeah,
That I had at that meetup.
When Justin Rhodes was up here in Ohio.
Yeah, I took a bite.
I really needed to videotape that face you made, though.
Oh, it had to have been the most terrible piece of something I had in my mouth in a long time. I'd have rather eaten worms.
Oh yeah, it was. Oh Lord, it was. Yeah, that was one of those. Yeah, exactly. Go ahead and laugh because it was. It was. He just turned so nobody watched him. I could just see him go. He was cringing. I was going to touch it. No way. Didn't even sound good.
So you don't have any pigs on your farm, do you?
No. And I don't, there's only a certain amount of work I want to get into. Actually, I did look into some of the heritage breeds. I like raising heritage livestock if possible. But it's just, they would be raised in the woods, and because I love piggy on acorns. That's good meat. But once again, it takes some time and more work, and I'm trying to just limit how much that is because I still have a full-time job. So I can only do so much.
Wow.
Sure.
Really. They want to know about duck blood soup. Have you ever had it or made it?
Yes. Yep. Actually, when we used to butcher, that used to be a standard thing you made when you butchered ducks, and my mom still raises a flock of muscovies for meat purposes. So I haven't made it for a while. Yeah, we used to make that all the time.
I think I just might go back to kosher with some of these things people are now talking about.
Are you making dandelion greens this year?
Absolutely, every spring tonic, ham and dandelion greens with hot bacon dressing and boiled potatoes.
I want to try that. This was last year was the first year I've ever made dandelion jelly. That stuff is awesome. Oh my gosh!
It is.
The only thing it was
So
a
is dandelion.
pain. It was a pain to bend down and pick them all. That's why I have granddaughters. They're coming this year to pick them. Oh my gosh. Yes, B lady, I do have some left.
Okay. Well, what do you think, hon?
Only after. My eyes are getting blurry, and I hate to say, but I have aprons to finish.
And
I stayed up way past my bedtime for this, just so you know.
And things have
We are honored. Thank
things
you so
have
much.
quieted down here
Yes,
quite a
I
bit.
have. Yes, I have.
So, folks, if you, I'll tell you what, not to cut this short for anybody, but we'll run it here another 5 minutes. If you got any questions, get them in, and then we'll close it down and have everybody have a wonderful evening. So, if you got any questions, now's the time to ask. If you want to give her a call, say hello, thanks for being on the show. We certainly appreciate her. And just to make everybody aware, next Monday night, for the first time in a year, we will not be doing the show. We will not be doing the show next Monday night. But look for us on Sunday. I've been told that the phone signal is strong enough that I can utilize my phone as a hotspot to do a broadcast Sunday from Deep South Homestead, Spring Gathering. And if that's the case, we will do that, and we will have a number of people coming through it, yes.
And I am Saturday night and Sunday night, especially after the get-together, after everybody sort of disperses and goes back to the hotel, I'm going to ask the folks at the front desk if there's any chance we can get into their breakfast room and hold our own little mini live stream or whatever for the folks that are staying at the hotel. See what we can do.
And Friday night at the campground.
Campground, Aldermans are there. They have their camper, and Tara, living on a dime. Tara and Mike will be with them, and they're going to try and do their Friday night live streams, and we will be there for the campfire for that.
And I would guess that there'll be some other people.
Yeah, they don't know who, but yeah.
But I'm guessing maybe Dirt Patch Evan will be there, and
I have no idea who's going to show up.
So, okay. No phone calls. Things have gotten pretty quiet.
Oh, Tom, poppies, any type of Hamantaschen are fantastic. My mother made prune Hamantaschen. Oh my gosh.
Yep.
Yes, and
We did too.
Yes. Oh yeah, she made the best cookies. I have all of her recipes.
And don't forget, folks in the room, get some views over here to Helga, help her out here a little bit. She certainly has very worthwhile content, and she got a lot of great recipes. So with that,
thank you, Helga. It was wonderful. I had a blast.
Can you think of anything else?
Didn't realize we were related so much.
Sure, appreciate it.
Well, folks, hope you have a wonderful week. We will see you sometime over the weekend, next weekend, and of course tomorrow night I have the editing live stream. And with that, we bid you good night.
Everybody who's traveling this weekend, drive safe.
Bye.